In the headlines, Senate President meets President Buhari, says 2023 elections will be free and fair. Police deploy DIG 30 senior officers for Ekiti governorship election. Gunmen kidnap Khan chairman in Plateau. And on the foreign scene, sheep fire in California explodes to 990 acres, right-hood evacuations ordered. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Dashan Husseina Usman. The Nigerian Senate President Ahmed Lawan says President Muhammadu Buhari will deliver free, fair and credible elections come 2023. The Senate President stated this when he visited the President at State House Abuja on Democracy Day. Senator Lawan revealed that his discussions with President Buhari centered on ensuring successful elections in 2023. The two leaders also rubbed minds on the completion of the APC's major projects, which are essential for use. All in all, Senator Lawan is insisting that the Buhari administration is leaving Nigeria better than it was in 2015.
This time, and as a father, we remain very loyal and committed to him and to this Federal Republic. We have also, in the process, discussed the way forward between now and the next year, when this administration would have completed its tenure on the 29th of May 2023. You know that we have so many legacy projects that are under construction, under consideration in different parts of the country. It is my belief that we must conclude or complete those projects so that Mr. President is able to commission them for public use before he leaves office.
Vice President Bacha has called for deep reflection by Nigerians on the nation's representative government as the nation celebrates this year's Democracy Day. The Vice President made the remark at an interdenominational church service in Abuja, where he urged citizens to be more committed to building a country desired by all. Shafi'u Suleiman reports.
Renditions from various choir groups heralding an interdenominational service to mark this year's Democracy Day. The Vice President, Emmanuel, is represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa. He underscores the imperative of celebrating the day and calls for deep thoughts on what he called a turning point in Nigeria's history. That turning point, he points out, brought about transition from military to democratic rule.
An interdenominational gathering of this sort is an important way to mark this special anniversary of our nation's democracy, largely because the values of justice, equality, fairness, and inclusion, which underpin democratic governance, are also at the heart of our Christian faith. A day like this, set aside to commemorate Nigeria's transition from military rule to democratic governance, gives us an opportunity to reflect on how far we have come as a people.
Reading from Romans chapter 8, verse 31 to 39, representative of the leadership of the National Assembly, Nkiruka Onyejocha, reminds the faithful of the need to have a strong belief in God in whatever circumstance they find themselves.
Who is even in the right hand of God, who also makes intercession for us, who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall tribulation, or distress, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword. As it is written, for your sake are we killed all day long.
The 2022 Democracy Day celebration began with a Friday prayer at the National Mosque, followed by a presidential address, and is expected to climax with a special Democracy Day parade scheduled to hold on Monday, the 13th of June. Shabir Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Members of civil societies in Osun State on Sunday held a peaceful rally in Osogbo, the state capital, in commemoration of the annulled June 12 presidential 1993 elections. Another event in Osogbo, also commemorating June 12, was attended by the state governor Adegboyega Oyetola, Adegboyega Owomolo, and the Oluo of Iwo, Oba Abdulrasheed Adewale Akombi. Trust TV's Hamid Oyegbade files the report.
Years ago, June 12, 1993, the presidential election was adjudged free, fair and peace, was annulled by former military president General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. This led to massive protests across the country. The acclaimed winner of the election, Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola, popularly called MKO Abiola, and his wife Kudirat Abiola, died during the regime of General Sani Abacha while struggling to reclaim the mandate. In 2018, President Muhammadu Buhari decreed 12 June as the nation's Democracy Day in honor of the sacrifice of MKO Abiola. In Osun State, youths and other citizens joined members of Osun Civil Society's coalition in a procession in Osogbo, Osun State capital, to mark just 12 annulment.
29 years ago, June 12 came on board, and what necessitated that June 12 was a popular resolve of the masses of our people to change the course of history.
The chairman of Osun Civil Society Coalition, Comrade Wahid Lawal, urged the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to ensure free and fair election in the state next month.
So far, so good. 29 years after the annulment of June 12, 1993 election, at least we are having 23 years of uninterrupted civilian rule. So at least we are no more under the jackboot of any military.
Comrade Wai Saka urged government to address insecurity and protect citizens.
In terms of security, the Nigerian government need to work hard. In terms of unemployment, they should brace up. In terms of creating an enabling environment for people to thrive, government should work seriously. We want a government that will give us a level playing ground.
Comrade Wale Adebisi, while explaining how he escaped death during the June 12 struggle in 1993, the essence of the struggle has not been achieved.
I witnessed the Ikotu massacre. I witnessed the Ikeja massacre by the military. When the military launched and the police, they now face the masses of agitators with armor tank. And many people, several dead bodies were recorded.
Comrade Ige Olusegun said MKO Abiola promised hope in 1993 and that Nigerians are still hoping for a better Nigerian 29 years after. Meanwhile, the state governor Adegboyega Oyetola, Adegboyega Awomolo, son, and Oluo of Iwo Land, Oba Abdulrasheed Adewale Akombi, attended another event organized by the state government to mark the June 12 in Osogbo.
The governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress in Taraba State, Senator Emmanuel Bacha, has asked Nigerians to rise and build the nation's democracy to maturity. Senator Bacha, who is representing Taraba South at the National Assembly, says the nation's democracy had been held back for so long by the perception that Nigeria was not yet ripe for democracy. He explained that all citizens must be involved in the democratic process, just as the founding fathers of the nation had envisaged.
My message to Nigerians is to imbibe the common spirit of democracy. meaning let everybody participate in this process. And as we know, what is holding us back as a country is the songs in our lips, on our lips has always been, our democracy is not yet ripe. They use the lexicon, nascent democracy, and this is the song we have been hearing since 1992 when some of us came on board. So for how long shall we remain babies? So we must grow and imbibe this spirit of democracy as we see it practiced in other climes in Western world. So this is my message to Nigerians. We must build our democracy to maturity. We must stop being babies that are fed with milk. This is my message to Nigerians.
Thank you, sir.
Senator representing the Imo West Senatorial District, Rochas Okorocha, has congratulated Bola Tinubu on his victory as the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress. In a statement on Monday on his Facebook page, Okorocha, who was also a presidential aspirant under the party, wished Tinubu success ahead of the 2023 general elections. He also commended other aspirants who participated in the APC presidential primary. Recall that Tinubu scored 1,271 votes to defeat his closest contenders, Rotimi Amechi and Vice President Emmanuel Bacha, during the party's presidential primary last Wednesday. Inspector General of Police Usman Al-Baba has given assurances that his agency will work with the Independent National Electoral Commission and all stakeholders to protect democratic values and provide a level playing field for all political actors during the Ekiti State gubernatorial elections scheduled for June 18.
We want to appeal to all
by Force Public Relations Officer Muyiwa Adejobi indicates that the police boss also pledged to ensure adequate protection of voters, INEC officials, equipment, accredited observers, and other key players in Ekiti State. To this end, Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of the Force Criminal Investigation Department, Babatunde Kokumo, has been deployed to Ekiti State to coordinate security component of the elections. DIG Kokumo will be assisted by 30 senior officers who are expected to coordinate human and operational deployments in the 3 senatorial districts, 16 local government areas, and the 2,445 polling units in Ekiti State. Gunmen have abducted the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Jos Area Council, Reverend James Kantoma. Kantoma, who is also a Catholic priest in charge of St. Anthony's Parish and Gwari community in the Jos East local government area of Plateau State, was abducted at his house in the community by the gunmen on Sunday night. The police public relations officer of the state command, Alabo Afred, who confirmed the incident, said that the command has deployed officers and men from the anti-kidnapping unit to the community, adding that they are working to ensure that the cleric regains his freedom and apprehends those behind the abduction. Similarly, gunmen on Sunday night abducted the Bishop of Jeba Diocese in Kwara State, Reverend Oluwaseun Aderugba, his wife and driver. Confirming the incident, Oyo State Police Public Relations Officer Adewale Ashifesho, in a statement on Monday, said preliminary investigations revealed that the victim's vehicle developed a mechanical fault while traveling from Yewa, Ogun State to Jeba en route an isolated area along New Oyo-Gbomosho Expressway. Oshifesho said the tactical teams of the command's anti-kidnapping squad, ambush squad, Puff Adder, police mobile force, counter-terrorism units, and conventional police personnel, as well as local hunters and vigilantes, are all involved in the rescue operations. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya has charged the newly inducted 699 Special Forces personnel of Exercise Restore Hope 2 to be brutal and merciless against criminal elements threatening the peace and stability of the country. Addressing the troops at the Nigerian Army training camp in Kachia local government area of Kaduna State, the Chief of Army Staff said the troops would be deployed to the theaters of operation in the fight against criminality and other forms of terrorism. Yahaya urged the Commander, Training and Doctrine Command and other commanders in the Nigerian Army to continue to train personnel holistically in order to improve the competences and skills of soldiers and officers in service. You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break. Menace of scavenging in Borno. Do stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Let's take a look at some of our top stories. We told you that Senate President meets President Buhari, says 2023 elections will be fair and fair. You also heard that police deployed DIG, 30 senior officers for Ekiti governorship elections. The Imo State Council of Traditional Rulers has presented a check of 1 million naira each to 11 widows of late traditional rulers in the state. The beneficiaries included 3 widows of late traditional rulers killed by gunmen at the Njaba local government area headquarters sometime in October last year. Chairman Imo State Traditional Council, Emmanuel Oke, presented the checks in Owerri. Speaking on the forthcoming 2023 general elections in the country, the monarch advised Nigerians to elect credible candidates and prayed for peaceful conduct of the polls.
So we used to have right, burial right, that we used to give to the wife so that she can cope with it for some while before getting herself normal again. We always used to release 1 million plus other things, some other things, provisions, and some other rights that we used to give them in the house. But in our office generally, we always release that money.
Recall that the deceased were among traditional rulers, security agents, and some politicians who were attacked during a meeting in the state. Moving on, the leadership of scrap dealers has said iron scavengers killed by Boko Haram group in Dikwa and Kalabalge communities are IDPs and not their members. Security agencies in Borno State have opened investigation into allegations that scrap dealers are involved in the vandalization of government and private properties in attacked communities. The report.
Few days ago, about 20 metal scavengers were gruesomely murdered by Boko Haram terrorists in Dikwa town, while a similar incident occurred in Kalebalge. The recent attacks from security intelligence alleged that the metal scavengers were involved in vandalization of government and private properties in the communities. This is the reason the Commissioner of Police, along with other security chiefs, visited the State Mechanic Workshop to investigate impounded trucks loaded with metals.
That inside these trucks, we have not seen anything incriminating for now. But, investigation is ongoing. And before we conclude our visitation and because we are interrogating the whole issue, we'll be able to come out with a concrete report that will serve the government, and in turn, the government will be able to bring out a policy that will make this business to be more genuine and healthy. Because the government had serious and terrible experiences where government infrastructures have been vandalized and individuals' vehicles have been cannibalized. And for us to curtail it, that is why we're here.
The Scrap Dealers Association said it's not involved in theft of metals, adding that those killed in Kalabalge and Dikwa are not their members.
They are not registered. and kuma da muka samu information su daga IDP camps suke sai su fito su.
They are not our members because they are not registered. We did our investigations and got information that they are IDPs who came out in search of metals for survival. We don't buy anything that is new and useful. We only accept metals that are burnt and old. Our members are warned not to vandalize anything. Even when we transport our metals, we involve the security agencies. The commissioner said after completing its investigation, it will send recommendations to the state government on the way forward.
Electricity consumers in Bacha State have lamented the hike in tariff and the alleged unsatisfactory level of services being rendered to them by the Jos Electricity Distribution Company. The consumers disclosed this at a forum with communities to resolve issues around electricity distribution and consumption. Adamu Imam has details.
Issues that bother Bacha residents are mainly those of poor power distribution in some part of the state, as well as that of prepaid meters. They are calling on the Jos Electricity Distribution Company to address them as soon as possible.
So that people will not be complaining about the high rate of billing, because it's the only way that people will understand the way they are being billed, and also to educate people, and also to make the judge understand the way and manner they are being billing people. For example, there are some areas that they say this estimate billing. This estimate billing causes a lot of problems. Because at times you see a compound, big compound and small compound, they will be given the same bill, the same amount. So this forum is the forum that educate them to know how they are going to be doing the billing by make sure that the materials that somebody is using in his house is the one that will cost higher.
Also on the complainant list is the delay in the installation of the electricity poles, which cause most of the power outages and destruction of properties witnessed in the area. Chairman of the Customers Forum, Alhaji Hassan, called for constant dialogue between the electricity consumers to ensure amicable resolution of issues affecting both parties.
It has to do with the billing system. I have applied and paid for a prepaid meter. At that time, it was 55,000 for 3-phase meter. And that meter was not given to me as when due. Along the line, I was cut off with what electricity supply in my house.
The regional manager of JED, Hamisu Jigawa, appealed to the federal government to help address some of the issues which he said are not within the company's jurisdiction, while urging the customers to bear with it on the new tariff.
There is increase in the electricity billing, but the customers need to know what even led to that increase. The regulator, the federal government, have reviewed our tariff about 4 or 5 times from 2020 ending to date. So the unit that you are buying for maybe at about 17 naira before, now you are buying it at about almost 54 naira. So even if you consume the same quantum of energy, you still have to pay higher because the amount will be different, because the cost of 100 unit at 17 naira is not the same as the cost of 100 unit at 54 naira.
The forum commended the media for its role and urged practitioners to continue partnering with it to resolve all lingering issues. Adamu Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Residents of Osun State say they are yet to recover from the negative effect of COVID-19 pandemic as their lives have not returned to normal. Speaking with Hamid Oyegbade, they lament the high cost of food and other commodities which they say aggravated the pains occasioned by the pandemic and sought government intervention to ameliorate their plight. The report.
The World Health Organization, which got the wind of the pandemic on December 31, 2019, declared the outbreak of COVID-19 on January 30, 2020. It was followed by the partial then total lockdown across the world. The economic and social disruption caused by the pandemic pushed many people into extreme poverty. Though federal government has relaxed the COVID-19 safety protocols and things are gradually returning to normal, most people are yet to recover from the devastating impact of the pandemic.
The effect of COVID-19 on the people is so saddened and is of a heavy weight on the community. During that period of COVID-19, many people lost their job. You know, there was always a lockdown. People that want to go to work were unable to go to work. Means of livelihood was so difficult for people to meet up with. And so it has a very great negative effect on the people.
A lot of people have not recovered from this COVID-19 setback. Lots of people have not even been able to take their children back to the fee-paying schools. A lot of them have had to take their children to the public school, and then some public schools are even rejecting them because they have brought them at a later.
The General Manager, Community Social Development Agency in Osun State, Fumi Abokede, said the state government has concluded plans to implement a program aimed at mitigating the impact of COVID-19 on the people of the state.
COVID-19 had its negative impact on the people, particularly on their health and the economy. And the state government of Osun is very sensitive to the plight of the people. That's why there's an intervention called Osun Cares, which is being co-funded by Osun State Government and the World Bank. And because our governor, Mr. Oyetola, is very sensitive and is really interested in the development of the people, it has allowed the agency, Osun Agency for Community Development, to implement that project, which will focus on health, water, and education. This will go a long way to reduce the negative impacts of COVID on our people, and it will help to improve the well-being of the people of Osun State.
People during the period could not feed their families because due to the inability to get a job, they could not feed their families. And this is creating a sort of a suffering atmosphere for our people. Up to now, we are feeling that particular impact of COVID-19 in our community.
And finally, away from Nigeria, the sheep fire burning in the San Gabriel Mountains has continued to explode in Wrightwood near the Angeles National Forest, burning 990 acres. As of Sunday, it was 5% contained. More than 200 firefighters worked through the night to contain the wildfire as hot and windy weather fueled the inferno. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's set up an evacuation center at Serrano High School and declared mandatory evacuations for Wrightwood residents living in the area near Highway 2 to Mesquite Streets from Highway 138 through San Canyon. The sheep fire broke out Saturday and has gone from burning 100 acres to 990 in just hours. And with this, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Dashan Husseina Usman. Thanks for watching.